Hello folks, good to talk to you again. So today I'm going to be sharing what I thought about the MLB the Show 22 tech test and why I kind of have mixed feelings about it and just MLB the Show in general. Let's just get right to it. So the PCI Anchor, it's the newest, most significant addition to gameplay. The PCI Anchor, I like its potential. At first I thought I was like, meh, they just keep adding stuff for the sake of adding stuff, just because they can. But I gotta admit, I knocked it before I tried it. So once I got to playing it, the PCI Anchor was actually really helpful, at least psychologically. It felt kind of safe that instead of moving the PCI around, I would pre-select from an area that I thought the pitcher would attack, and I would anchor it right there. In games past, I would have what I thought would be like the perfect plan on how they're going to attack me. And a lot of times I'd be right, just because I do have an active mind. But my execution would be just pure, complete dog shit. My thumb at the last second would either go up or down. It would end very horribly. So here with the PCI Anchor, you leave it in one spot, you track the ball without your thumb there to mess it up, and you adjust accordingly if you have to. And for the first time in years, hitting on line, it didn't seem like the great challenge that it used to be for me. Like here, I know I'm late right here, but my timing is horrible, I know that, but I still put up a competitive swing, I believe, because I didn't have to worry about my thumb doing its sabotaging thing. In years past, I would swing and miss right through that pitch. This anchor doesn't really mean that you can't move the PCI after you lock it. On the contrary, it's still open season pretty much, as you can see here. But if you don't want to move it, it does give you that little cushion, I guess is the best way to put it. And because of the anchor, I think I performed better, at least hitting-wise, than I usually do. Numbers are probably going to say otherwise, but, at least mentally it made me feel good about myself. So, co-op. This was the other big feature. I played co-op using my PS4, my homeboy was using the Nintendo Switch, and we finally connected after 20 tries of trying to sync up. So that was fun, I didn't like that. The first inning, it was a little rough getting to know it, but overall we got the hang of it pretty quick. I learned two things from this co-op mode. One, even on a Stone Age PS4, graphics are pretty bomb compared to the Switch, as you can see right here. And I can't even imagine just how awesome it looks in real time on a next-gen platform, so we should not be complaining for that. We gotta be thankful for that. I learned that I'm not a big fan of co-op as it is in its current iteration. What do I mean by that? The whole everyone does something rotation, I think is a good idea if you're just about having fun in the game, or if it's for kids. However, if you want to be a little more competitive, the whole concept of teamwork just for the sake of teamwork, that doesn't fly with me, Like in real baseball and life in general, I believe we work with others based on our strengths to kind of make up for our weaknesses. For example, I'll be the first to admit here, I suck at hitting. I'm the worst hitter in the world when it comes to MLB the Show, particularly against velocity. However, I like to think I'm pretty good at pitching, especially sequencing and playing that cat and mouse game. So if I were to co-op competitively, I would want to take the reins on pitching and defense, and then I would want to let my co-op partner in crime go all MLB slugfest on opposing pitchers while I go make myself a torta, because, if I'm competing, I just can't stand the idea of handing off so much control to someone else who, to put it bluntly, sucks more than I do. For what is MLB the Show, if not an effort to master the chaos that sweeps the baseball world? So I think in that regard, co-op can be fun in tight circles, and I think it should be meant strictly for that. I didn't like that we couldn't easily add friends with a simple game invite, though I understand that's how it was intended for beta purposes. I think if they are really thinking about adding this as a purely competitive feature, I think San Diego Studios has some real work to do. All I know is that I'd probably go make myself a torta before I play this mode again. So, aesthetics. It's MLB the Show, the graphics are freaking bomb, I like the scoreboard. I think this new scoreboard, it's pretty neat. It tells you everything you need to know. And that win expectancy thing, it's a pretty nice touch too. They show that on the ESPN broadcasts, so it's a nice little statistical touch, I think, that adds to the realism. Another thing I noticed that was a nice surprise was there is no more show track. It's now actually StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. Actually, I guess it's Google Cloud now, right? All these big tech companies, man, whatever, they're all the same. They're all running the world with their lizard people in charge. But anyway, I did like that StatCast visual. Again, it makes me feel like we're actually participating in a real world baseball game instead of a video game. And if you're a baseball nerd, even more so if you're a sabermetrics nerd, I guess if you're just younger in general, it's just a nice touch. So thank you, San Diego Studios. So here's something I've had on my mind for a while. Since we're talking about visuals, one thing I'm sort of curious about is I've never heard anyone talk about this. It's historical stats in Diamond Dynasty for, historical players. San Diego Studios has done mostly a really great job in giving us the privilege of playing stars of today, tomorrow, but most importantly, stars of yesteryear. And if I had more money that I could spare, I probably would get 22 without a doubt, no questions about it, just for the simple fact that freaking the big unit is going to be in it. He's one of my all-time favorite pitchers. I always wondered why we can't get more info on historical players or just any player in general in Diamond Dynasty. In pretty much every other mode, you press triangle or the equivalent of it on your PlayStation control, and what pops up is, the card attributes with the quirks and stuff, how old the guy is, where he was born, his height and weight, and all that good stuff. But why can't on that same screen we get a breakdown of their stats? Because, we already have that with live players in franchise mode, in the rosters, and anywhere else you can find that except Diamond Dynasty. So I'm wondering why not. I'm not telling them how to, make the game. I'm not saying they should include this. It's just always been a little curious to me because they have this in every other mode. Why can't they include it in Diamond Dynasty? Why can I look up Mike Trout's stats in franchise mode and see that he has 310 lifetime homers, he had a 460 OBP in 2018, a 645 slugging in 2019, and he has a 1002 lifetime OPS, But in Diamond Dynasty, all I get is Trout's boner. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going to play the big unit, I want to look up his stats, I'm sure they already have a spreadsheet of Randy Johnson's stats as they made the game because just for the simple fact that attributes are based off of player stats. So again, it's not a deal breaker for me. I've always been really curious about that. Look, at the end of the day, to me, MLB the Show 22 just seems like the same game with a roster update. Pitching and defense are pretty much the same, which is not saying anything bad about it by any means. I think they're actually really freaking good right now. But I didn't really notice any difference with it. I really was excited last year when they made that change to the pitching, that thing, the pole, what is it called? I forget what it's called. It's escaping me at the moment. But I thought that was more realistic. It gave you greater control, and I was all for it. It's just, can it really be significantly improved to the point where you say it's revolutionary? I don't think so at this point. At least definitely not for 22. Now, the PCI Anchor, I believe, is a huge upgrade that I think can really help out players who just suck at hitting like me. Don't get me wrong there, but it's just to shell out 60 to 70 bucks for this one new feature. Even if it's really good, it's just, I'm not completely sold yet at the moment. I was playing the custom practice, and I realized that MLB the Show 22 is a pretty damn good video game. Forget baseball game. This is one of the best franchises of all time if you're talking about video games. It looks awesome. It feels realistic. There's so much content that it's almost impossible to do everything, and that's good because it keeps you wanting to play and wanting to improve yourself. It's just, I think the game has set the bar really, really freaking high in recent years because over the years it has adapted to be made specifically for the user, the gamer. I mean, now you can build a stadium in next-gen consoles. You can customize your teams, your camera angles, your PCI, everything to make you feel as comfortable as you can as you grind through the beast that is MLB The Show. And yet I believe something is lacking. Maybe it's just because I played it for years and I've become spoiled. I don't know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, what's next? Especially with baseball, because I do believe it's something true that you do see something new at the ballpark every day. But for MLB The Show, I want to ask that question. What am I seeing that's new? If I'm going to roast on it a little more, I'm also not a fan of that rumor going around that franchise mode is going to be like no more. I'm a big franchise guy and it's far from perfect, but if I'm going to be paying for it, I'd still rather have it in the game than not. Now, it's not official, but I mean, you can kind of tell that it is, especially when they've had the time and resources to upgrade it over the last few years, and they've kind of went the other way with March to October. So yeah, I'm definitely not a fan regarding that. With that being said, I do want to really thank San Diego Studios for putting out this beta free for everyone. Hell, even for allowing us to record. I'm sure for baseball fans everywhere, definitely me, it really means a lot, particularly given the current situation that's transpiring in the real world. But I do think that for me personally, as of this recording, it's probably the last time that I touch MLB The Show 22. Unless they make some like huge radical changes, like they bring the show to PC, that is what I really want. Or they like release a Barry Bonds or Manny or Aegon Diamond Dynasty card. Or hell, even just if they fix franchise mode. If they do that, hell, I'll buy it again. Unless they do stuff like that, I think I'll just stick to 21 for now until I get really tired of it, which is probably going to be any day soon anyway. You know, never say never, and I'm sure SDS is going to reveal more awesome content as the weeks go by, but as of this time, you know, I just personally am leaning towards not buying 22. Sorry. On a lighter note, I do want to thank you all for watching. Please go ahead and, do the use, like, share, subscribe. It really helps us out. Let me know your thoughts, definitely. I really want to know on what you think about the tech test and just about the future of MLB the Show in general. I'm sure most of your thoughts won't be as pessimistic as mine, so let me know. And before I leave, I want to take a moment to briefly talk about the channel. I'm coming out in the next few weeks with an all-Mexican MLB the Show Diamond Dynasty team. You know, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's going to have the best Mexican or Mexican-American baseball cards that were available in MLB the Show 21. So, yeah, I mean, it should be fun. I'm also planning to start a new series about the scandalous stories about Major League Baseball. My first video is actually going to be about White Sox legend Ozzie Guillen, so that one should be real fun. That one was a treat to research. So anyways, folks, do your thing. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you when I see you. Torta out.